Laura, welcome to my channel, and this is my second half of the video that I had made about my faith and talking about raw veganism and the reason why I decided to be a raw vegan. And now I'm going to talk about the 6 things that I think are higher vibration foods that I like to use. And of course there's many other foods in the raw vegan lifestyle that I think are really good for the body, but these 6 things I think give me a higher vibration, and I think that these are important to thrive on this lifestyle, and that I've chosen this lifestyle and to not use meat and fish products and things of that nature because of the uric acid that it creates in the body, the inflammatory that ends up in the body through all of these different foods, and of course dairy and all of those things that creates mucus in the body, and the diseased fish and the mercury and what it does to the brain and all of those things. So that's why I've chosen this lifestyle. And the number one thing that I think is the best for the body, for the human body, is leafy greens and things that grow out of the ground. You know, that our makeup in our body is actually very similar to the roots in the ground, and this is a proven study. So these things really help us to thrive and make us feel alive. And I think that leafy green stuff like butter lettuce, kale, spinach, if kale and spinach, sometimes kale, sometimes people don't like spinach. Sometimes kale is hard on people's stomachs. Sometimes it's better if you can't really eat kale, maybe put it in smoothies and stuff and add it that way because it's more broken down and it's not as hard on the stomach that way. But you can also use like a spring mix, and lately I've been eating a lot more spring mix because it is a little bit easier on the stomach. I love butter lettuce. I think that that's delicious. And, you know, just green leafy things in general, I think is God's food that comes from the earth. I think that it is so, it's just so thriving. Another thing that I love is if you take a thing of carrots or something and you get the fresh carrots, a lot of times you can get those green leafy things at the end, and those are actually better for you than the actual carrot itself. And every once in a while I cut those off and I throw those in my salads because they make me feel so good. Another thing is beets. You know, your leaves at the end of a beet is also very good for you, and I like to include those into my diet. So leafy greens are number 1 on my list. So number 2 is sprouts, and I have a lot of videos out on sprouts. I am a very firm believer in sprouts, and I love to sprout sunflower sprouts and all kinds of different sprouts, lentils. And I did a video on the little, you know, it's kind of like mason jars like that, and you have the little tops, and it's real simple. Clover sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, all kinds of sprouts, broccoli sprouts. I sprout a lot of different things, and I do them on a regular basis because this is one way, even in the winter time when you're not growing your own food, which I do. My husband and I have a big garden in the summer, and we grow a lot of kale and zucchini squash, tomatoes, all kinds of different things. And, you know, in the winter time, I don't have a greenhouse or anything like that. So I just go to the local co-ops and good grocery stores that have organic stuff. And, you know, I don't get stuff when it is fresh right away like I do in the summertime. So one thing that can assure me that I get that is through sprouts, and I sprout a lot in the winter time. I do it in the summer too, but in the wintertime, I really do a lot more sprouting because I don't have access to other stuff. And I don't even have all the fruits, the fresh fruit that you can get in the summertime, which I don't grow any fruit, but you can get a lot of good fresh fruit at the local grocery stores. And you know, in the winter time, you don't have an abundance of fruit. So sprouts is one way to get that life force, which I think that that life force is so important, because that's what puts life into you, is that life force. And that's what makes me feel alive and thrive. And so I put that as number 2 for the high vibration foods that I think can make you thrive on this lifestyle. Number 3 is fruit. I think that fruit is one of the most healthiest things that we can eat. Watermelon, bananas, especially things like berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. I think that berries have really the highest level of cancer fighting agents and things, and I always get the wild blueberries, the frozen kind, and I use those a lot in my smoothies and stuff. But I feel that fruit is definitely one of the healthiest things that we could eat. The water content and just all of the minerals that come out of that, and I think it's very important. And I think that if you start doing this, you definitely will feel a big difference and have a higher vibration. So I put that as my number 3 is spirulina. I love spirulina. Spirulina is one of my favorite things to throw in a smoothie. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry in the morning on my way to work, I will just use coconut water and a banana and just spirulina. And you know, you can get the dried spirulina and just put about a tablespoon of it in there. It boosts your energy. It also can alleviate sinuses. It lowers blood pressure. It can eliminate candida. It can also lower your chance of stroke. It's also been known to actually help cure HIV, which is really something that's very strong. And it can also eliminate candida. So this is a very potent, like a seed plant algae that is just delicious. I love the taste of it, and it makes me feel really good when I get up in the morning and I have it. It gives me lots of energy, so I love it, and I put that as number 4 of the high vibrational foods. Number 5 is fermented foods. Anything like sauerkraut or yogurt, coconut yogurt. I've made my own yogurt. I have a video on making my own salt-free sauerkraut. But even if you can't get salt-free, there is, I think it's called Little Kim. It's a raw sauerkraut that you can sometimes get in some of your grocery stores, like you know, Whole Foods or places like that. And it's actually you know, raw, so it's not cooked down and things. It may have a little bit of sodium, but a lot of times it's maybe like a little over 100 grams in a small batch of it. So if you're only going to eat maybe 2 tablespoons, a lot of times I may put into a salad. This is a good way of getting that fermentation. And the reason why this is so thriving and so important, and why I put this as one of the highest vibrational foods, is because when your gut is good, everything in your body thrives, and it definitely gives you a higher vibration. So I think that fermented foods is definitely very important, and I put that as number 5 on high vibration. Number 6, last but not least, is nuts and seeds. I think nuts and seeds are very important. Even though I don't think you should eat pounds of them a day, I think that they're very important. They do have protein. They do make us feel sustained. And there's so many good nuts and seeds that have so many good beneficial things for the body. I definitely think that they're amongst the high vibrational foods. And I love to put things like pumpkin seeds. I use a lot in my salads. And, you know, I don't usually eat a lot of nuts, like just handful of nuts, but I do add them to things. Walnuts, almonds, things like that are just absolutely wonderful for the human body. So I put that as number 6 of the higher vibrational foods. And I'm just going to close with that. And I'm going to read this. And this is also out of Genesis. And it says, "And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is fruit, and the tree yielding seed to you shall be for meat. So you see, we can definitely thrive on these things, and we can use our seeds as our meats and our nuts as our meat. We don't have to have flesh in order to have meat. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful, blessed day.